Please give it up for Ty and Patty Mullen, our dancers. Thank you. We are the Unforgettable Big Band. We are based here in York, and we are celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. We love being musical ambassadors for this city, and we're honored to be part of your evening tonight. We thank you for all that you do to make York County a wonderful place to call home. Our music is often featured in Argentina as part of a weekly music program down there called Jazz and Sinatra. And we just recently surpassed 500,000 streams for a song on Spotify. So we enjoy representing York. And we have one more song for you called Orange Colored Sky. We're going to bring Christy Wiest out. She's going to join me for this one. I was walking along, just minding my business, when out of an orange-colored sky, flash, bam, alakazam, wonderful you walked by.
I was humming a tune, drinking in sunshine, when out of an orange-colored view, flash, bam, alakazam, I gotta look at you.
One look and I yelled timber, watch out for flying glass. Cause the ceiling fell in and the bottom fell out. I went into a spin and I started to shout, I've been hit, this is it, this is it.
I was walking along, minding my business, when love came and hit me in the eye. Flash, bam, alakazam, orange-colored sky.
One look and I yelled timber, watch out for flying glass. Cause the ceiling fell in and the bottom fell out. I went into a spin and I started to shout, I've been hit, this is it, this is it. I was walking along, just minding my business, when love came and hit me in the eye. Flash, bam, alakazam. Thank you very much. Ty and Patty Mullen, ladies and gentlemen. And we are the Unforgettable Big Band. Thanks for having us.
Philanthropy is important because it's bigger than us. It's bigger than just me as an individual. It's bigger than just me and my family. And so how do we think about all the good that we have in our lives, and how do we continue to pay that forward and allow others to have those same opportunities? That's what charitable giving does.
We see all the trouble that's out there. We see all the problems. We see the things that need to be fixed. But it's not one of the things you can just, sort of flip a switch and it's done. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that we can help out with, and we do help out with.
So there's a lot of great nonprofits, but what's very unique about the foundation is that it collaborates with everyone in the community to help identify those needs and brings people together to help solve those issues. Other organizations do great work, but I haven't seen another organization like the foundation that truly has the entire community in its focus.
But really taking that wide and that vast approach to the county. Who are we as a community? Who do we want to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? What do we want our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren to see when they think about home?
The things that are impacting people are the things that we can help with. Education, transportation, housing.
there's energy, there's environment, there's children, there's schools, I mean, you name it. There's really an unlimited potential. The Community Foundation really does have a fund or a connection with an organization that is pursuing those causes.
We are focused on endowed giving. So a donor provides a gift that then grows over time and continues to grow over time, while also giving back to the community. That long-term investment is really what we do, and it's really why we matter.
You can leave a legacy forever in perpetuity, and it's not really hard to do. It'll always have your name on it.
There's some pretty large endowments that the foundation's been blessed to have been stewards of for many, many years, but by and large, most endowments are smaller gifts. These small gifts are going to smaller organizations that just need a little help with this initiative or this cause or something else, and they can go a very, very long way in helping those organizations.
We serve our donors in their charitable interest. So a donor can express their passions and make that initial investment to support that passion.
I was always raised to give back, to help others. It's a good feeling to help people. It don't get no better.
Every heart has an interest in this county. We can all join in on these efforts. Every resource, every dollar can make an impact. We invite donors to really think about what they care about, what their passions are, and what their legacy is going to be for years to come, and create endowed funds here at the Community Foundation.
Alrighty. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the YCCF annual meeting. We're so glad to have you here with us tonight. My name is Harold Myers, and I'm the board chair of the York County Community Foundation.
And I'm Natalie Gunderson, the president and CEO. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I'm so glad we were able to move past the band. And what a great job they did. How about another round of applause for the Unforgettable Big Band?
Absolutely. So you know, their song choices were not a coincidence. That music represents the journey we're all on together, united in rhythm, walking side by side, and dancing in celebration of who we are as a community and the possibilities for all York County for years to come.
Before we dive in, let us thank the generous sponsors who made this gathering tonight possible. Our sponsors tonight are Barley Snyder, Collective Family Office, Fulton Bank, Gladfelter Insurance Group, Powder Mill Foundation, RKL, S&T Bank, Traditions Bank, Wagman, Wellspan Health, and the York Water Company. Thank you for your support.
We'd also like to honor some local elected officials that are here with us this evening. We have Senator Dawn Kiefer, Representative Carol Hill Evans, York County Commissioner Scott Bruford, York City Council Member Betsy Buckingham, Mayor York Haven Christine Ebersol. We'd like to thank all of you for your leadership and commitment to serving our community and for supporting the powers of endowment.
So let's talk a little bit about what we achieved together in 2024, because we will say it is a year to remember. Thanks to you, our community contributed $12.4 million for today and for tomorrow for York County. We can't say thank you enough. Those contributions came through 28 new charitable funds created by donors and nonprofit organizations who care deeply about causes that matter most to them and that matter most to the vibrancy of York County.
Yes. Our nonprofit partners added an additional $5 million to their endowment funds, ensuring long-term sustainability for their missions.
And the big one, we awarded a record-breaking $10.8 million to 444 nonprofit organizations across the county. Some of those stories are highlighted in the annual reports at your seat, so please enjoy reading those stories.
Now, that's real impact. That's real change. And it's all because of you, our donors, fund holders, professional advisors, and volunteers. Thank you.
With your help, YCCF is now the 4th largest community foundation in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And we rank among the top 100 in the nation. So that's something to be proud of, York.
We're not just talking numbers, we're talking lives changed. In 2024, we award over $555,000 open door for students throughout York County, helping them to pursue their dreams and build their futures.
We also awarded over $355,000 in grants to help low-income individuals and families move toward economic independence through career development, child and youth development, health, transportation, and housing. We aren't doing this alone. We aren't tackling our community's most pressing challenges alone. In 2024, we continued to strengthen our partnerships with the YCCEA and the United Way, working toward a similar goal, a thriving York County for all.
"2024 also marked year 3 of our ambitious 3-year strategic plan, and we made incredible progress. We partnered with professional advisors, national experts, local leaders to share insight on building financial security. We studied the vital connection between early childhood education and employment stability for working families. We participated in community coalitions focused on addressing the housing crisis across our county. We remain committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion of our community in order to provide opportunities for everyone to thrive. We have renewed focus on our Embracing Aging initiative to ensure older adults have access to high-quality housing and reliable transportation as members of our community.
We've also taken a hard look inward, committed to strengthening our own staff and board cultural and operational competence to learn how we can better serve all of York County. Our mission remains clear. We're engaging donors and our community to work together to remove barriers to economic mobility and create opportunities for everyone in York County to thrive. We believe in the impact we can make together.
Tonight, we are surrounded by the people who fuel this work. Donors, grantees, volunteers, advisors, staff, community champions. You are all part of this journey, and we thank you. A huge thank you to the wonderful and dedicated staff of YCCF who have worked tirelessly to achieve the results and key initiatives for 2024. Thank you for all of them that you do every day. And as a very special thank you, Natalie has a little something.
Yeah, so tonight we want to recognize one exceptional leader. We actually had a board meeting prior to our annual meeting, but today we wanted to share with you all an exceptional leader in our community, who is Holly Mayer. Holly has served, yes, a round of applause to Holly. Holly has served on YCCF's board of directors for a decade and chaired our investment committee for 8 of her 15 years of service on the investment committee. She's a former chair of the board, and in 2023, she was inducted into our Professional Advisor Recognition Society. Holly, your leadership guided us through my CEO transition, and you've opened doors and hearts to many and the mission, and to many for the mission of the YCCF across our county. I'm excited to share that in your honor and for your love of fashion and sewing, we have donated the book, The Dressmakers of London by Julia Kelly to the York County Library System, which is our small way of thanking you for your leadership. Let's show appreciation for Holly.
And now with gratitude to our current leaders, we actually have some new ones to welcome aboard at this year's meeting. We have Rob Berkebaugh, who's retired from RKL with 40 years experience in strategic planning and financial management, actually coming back to the board, I believe. We have Dr. Jose Serrano, Chief of Emergency Medicine at UPMC, Hanover Memorial, bringing a deep understanding of health equity. And then we have Elizabeth Meyer, new to York County, but a seasoned financial executive and nonprofit leader, as well as a past board member of the Black Hills Community Foundation. We are thrilled to have you here with us and grateful for the skills and perspectives you will bring. Thank you.
Strong leadership is crucial, now more than ever. Nonprofits are facing tough challenges with uncertainty around federal funding and pressure to change the ways in which they advocate on behalf of their communities. YCCF's role in this is to continue to support the resiliency of the sector. In 2024, through the power of endowed funds, over $6.6 million supported general operations for our nonprofits in the county, keeping their doors open and their mission strong. I like that corner. They're like clapping and screaming. I like that corner. Endowments help organizations have more stable, long-term support, making them less reliant on federal and outside funding. In support of our nonprofit sector, in 2024, we also launched the York County Nonprofit Collaborative, a coalition of over 20 nonprofit leaders, volunteers, funders, working side by side to strengthen the sector.
5 work groups that we actively working to are shared information, develop leadership, encourage peer learning, simplify grant processes, and advocate for smart policies. Together, we're reducing duplication, increasing transparency, and making funding more accessible for those providing our community with critical programs and life-changing support.
Thank you to so many of you. There are many of you in the audience today, and we truly appreciate the collaboration. But this important work has roots. It began with the vision of one incredible woman, leader, and donor, Carolyn E. Steinhauser. In 2004, Carolyn created the Nonprofit Management Assistance Fund at the York County Community Foundation to help nonprofits thrive. And she later inspired the founding of the Women's Giving Circle. In her honor, let us share the video of her legacy and her generosity.
We're looking for real solutions to create real change. You need collaboration across so many sectors: education and local government and state public policy and philanthropy and stakeholders from everywhere. To create real change is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Community building is always a team effort, but without the visionary leadership of Carolyn E. Steinhauser, York would be a very different place.
The Women's Giving Circle has established the Carolyn Eister Steinhauser Prize in Carolyn's honor, and to recognize others in the community who reflect what I'll call the Carolyn factor. I think most of you probably know that Carolyn used pretty closely to the concept of strategic philanthropy. And strategic philanthropy is at the heart of the Carolyn factor. The Carolyn factor takes aim at the community's most important and complex issues that are believed to be holding the community back. It facilitates the collective action of individuals and organizations working together across multiple systems and sectors. And it understands that this kind of work needs time for innovation and informed risk-taking. In other words, the Carolyn factor knows that durable community change is hard work, very hard work, and it accepts the challenge.
The Carolyn Eister Steinhauser Prize was created in 2017 by Women's Giving Circle to honor individuals whose contribution to community building in York County reflect Carolyn's decades of effectively bringing our community together to address complex challenges.
How can you affect real change? We have to strengthen the non-for-profit community. You need data and partnerships and coalitions and sustained funding and leadership. All those ingredients. To me, that's what makes a healthy community.
What an amazing legacy for an amazing woman. We look forward to having the award presentation at next year's meeting. I see some people still standing in the back. I wanted to let you know there are plenty of seats up front. If you want to come closer to see our panel discussion, please give this moment to filter through. You won't interrupt anyone. Way up in the front, come on. As they're finding seats. Good evening, everyone. It's great to see so many familiar faces and supporters. I'm Philip Woods, Gift Planning Officer at York County Community Foundation, and I have the honor each day of helping people and nonprofit organizations turn their passions and their missions into lasting legacies for this amazing place that I've been able to call home for my entire life. Tonight, we gather not just to celebrate generosity and impact, but to honor extraordinary individuals who are lighting the way to a more vibrant, compassionate, and connected York County. Your vision, your commitment, and your deep love for this community remind us of the power we hold when we come together with purpose. Thanks to you, York County is more than just where we live. It's where hope is nurtured, where families flourish, and where future generations will feel empowered to dream even bigger. Through your support of the York County Community Foundation, you aren't just giving, you're planting seeds for a future filled with possibility. Each of you honored tonight shares something profound, a passion for making a difference. The foundation is deeply, deeply grateful for your trust. Together, we are turning that passion into meaningful, lasting impact. And your legacy is not just a reflection of who you are, it's a promise to the York County of tomorrow. Tonight, we are proud to welcome the newest members of our 1749 Legacy Society. Named for the year York County was founded, the 1749 Legacy Society honors those visionary individuals who have chosen to shape the future by including the Community Foundation in their estate plans. Whether it's a gift by will, beneficiary designation through a retirement plan, or life insurance policy, these generous individuals have made a powerful statement that their values and their love for York County will live on for generations to come. We thank you for your foresight, for your commitment, and for making York County part of your legacy. Thanks to the incredible generosity and forethought of 4 donors, legacy gifts totaling $3.1 million were received at York County Community Foundation in 2024. Through their estates after their lifetimes. We can clap for that too. Their lasting commitment ensures that their values will continue to make a difference for years to come. As mentioned earlier, in the last year alone, 28 new charitable funds were created at YCCF. Each fund represents far more than a financial contribution. It is a story, a hope, a dream for our community's future. These funds are bold commitments to our community. At your seats, you'll find a list of these new funds in our annual report. Please take a moment to read their stories, as each one has a spark, and together they form the foundation for a vibrant and thriving future. Tonight, as we talk about Legacy Society members and new funds, we continue to experience what we have come to know as the Great Wealth Transfer. Statistics and analysis says between now and 2030, an estimated $418 billion with a B, $418 billion will transfer across Pennsylvania in generational wealth. If just 5% of that wealth is directed toward charitable giving, the Commonwealth could unlock $21 billion in permanent funding for communities across our state. In York County alone, we could unlock $650 million, which would equate to $32 million in annual grants, resources that would fuel the nonprofits, programs, and innovations that make our community stronger. At YCCF, we are proud to support the PA Giving Pledge, a statewide initiative encouraging Pennsylvanians to commit 5% of their estate to future generations. By taking the pledge, you are not just giving, you're leading. You're ensuring that York County remains a place where generosity powers opportunity and where our shared values continue to lift us all. YCCF, of course, is here to help. When you're ready to take the pledge, please reach out to us, and you too can join our other 1749 Legacy Society members in making York County part of your legacy. We are especially proud tonight to celebrate the nonprofits that are investing in their own futures. and choosing to partner with YCCF to ensure their missions endure. Several of the new funds created this year were made possible because nonprofit leaders and their donors are boldly planning ahead, strengthening their organizations for generations to come. To share more about these meaningful partnerships, we're excited to welcome a few remarkable leaders to the stage. Elizabeth Dellinger, Secretary of YCCF's Board of Directors and Chair of our Resource Development Committee, will lead our conversation. Liz is a tireless advocate for our nonprofit partners and a true believer in their power to change lives. Joining her tonight, Ron Bunce, President and CEO of Children's Home of York, Ann Davis, Executive Director, Dream Right Center for Community Arts, and C. Kim Bracey, CEO of YWCA York. Please join me in giving them all a warm welcome.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Nonprofit Showcase. We're so glad that you could join us tonight for a meaningful conversation about how agency endowment funds can help nonprofits not only survive, but truly thrive. So this conversation tonight, it's about strengthening missions, it's about deepening impact, and building a better future together. So tonight I'm thrilled to be joined. We mentioned by three incredible nonprofit executives up here with me, and they're leading organizations doing just all those three things. So they'll be sharing their experiences partnering with YCCF to grow and to use endowment funds to advance their mission. So let's start to get to know a little bit more about you guys. I'm sure a lot of people in the audience already know you, but why don't we go through one by one. Tell me your name, your organization, a quick snapshot of what you do. I know you do many wonderful things, and share with us the heart of what your endowment helps make possible in our community. Ron, we'll go to you first.
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be with all of you this evening. Again, my name is Ron, and I'm the president of Children's Home of York. And we have been serving the York community for 160 years this year and counting. And our sole mission is really to serve the most vulnerable among us. That's children who have experienced abuse or neglect, significant mental health challenges, or who have experienced trauma. And so we offer a continuum of care to help them along their healing journey with us. And for us, using our endowment as well as our new agency flex account really helps us to create this passive revenue stream in perpetuity to help support critical mission work that is often underfunded. It also creates an opportunity for us to self-innovate or self-fund, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. And then, it's our hope that our agency endowment fund will help us weather economic shocks to our system so that we can continue to support the children in our community who need us most. And I think broadly speaking, when you think about an agency flex fund, just like families across our community who are saving for their future, just like for-profit businesses who are saving for their future, we too at Children's Home of York are doing the exact same thing. The only difference is that our savings are really a promise. It's a promise to future generations that will always be there to serve children who need us the most.
Great answer. Okay. Ann?
Good evening. I'm Ann Davis, Executive Director of Dream Right Center for Community Arts for 2 more months. Dream Rights is a safe place. It brings all kinds of people together to create art, to build relationships, to build community, to build trust and respect. All kinds of people. So it's really a delightful and positive space to be in, and I'm grateful to be part of it. As a founding member, I am so very grateful that we have an endowment in place because it's going to live on after me. So.
Good evening. I am Kim Bracey, the Chief Executive Officer of YWCA York. Christy Raleigh-Platts is our president. I don't know if she's here or not tonight, but we are happy that she's our board president from Tradition Bank. We work to eliminate racism and empower women and children throughout York County. We do that by providing child care, school-age care, to young people. We consider ourselves the largest pre-K counts provider in York County with about 300 slots. That makes us the largest and the best. A lot of challenges with that, though. Let me take that down. But, and we also provide services for folks who may have suffered some sort of violent crime. We provide emergency shelter for domestic violence survivors, human trafficked individuals, as well as sexually assaulted folks.
Thanks, Kim. All right, thank you, everyone. Great answers. All right, endowments might not always be top of mind in the nonprofit world. You guys got, a lot of things going on, but they can be powerful tools for resilience and growth. So let's explore what that looks like in real life at your agencies. So Ron, this question's for you. The Children's Home of York has done incredible work building innovation and sustainability. Your endowment helps to ensure there's money to care for children, even in uncertain financial times like we find ourselves in now. So how have your endowment funds helped you not only sustain services, but actually enhance them?
Sure. Well, I've been with Children's Home of York for just over 5 years, and our board of directors was really adamant that we as an organization needed to develop sustainable business models so that the programs that we offer were budget neutral. That said, the reality is programs that are supported by Medicaid are often traditionally underfunded, and so that requires us to spend quite a bit of our time raising dollars. And we do that, but I think one of the benefits of an agency flex account is creating that passive revenue stream that we can count on every single year. We can continue to grow that, and it helps us to sustain some of the Medicaid underfunded programs that we offer. However, I think it's important to note, an agency flex account it's not a silver bullet. The reality is we know that there are probably going to be some significant Medicaid funding cuts to our programs, and it's our responsibility to ensure that we have the resources to provide critical services to children in our care who need psychiatric residential type of treatment or who need a partial hospitalization program. And our agency flex account is really providing us with an opportunity to hopefully stabilize some of those funding cuts. But I do, again, want to just talk about the reality is 46% of our Medicaid dollars come from the federal government for 2 of our programs. So we're doing what we can to ensure that we're creating sustainable programs, but that's certainly a challenge. I do want to mention, one of the things that's really valuable for us is, I mentioned we get to fund our own innovation. We're launching a new electronic health record. It's hard to believe that we as an organization still are doing everything with paper and pencil, but we are able to fund an electronic health record with our agency flex funds as well as through some of our local community foundations. We're going to be self-funding, operating or opening up a new outpatient mental health clinic. That's all through the possibility of our agency flex fund. So it really creates an opportunity for us to focus on excellence, innovation, the future, as well as shoring up some of the gaps that we have in funding.
That's great. Great answer. Okay, Kim, this question's for you. We got our microphones now, so I guess everybody can hear us. All right, YWCA York has had an endowment at the YCCF for over 30 years. When you stepped into your role as CEO, how did that existing support help you plan confidently for the future?
Having, again, an endowment with the York County Community Foundation for as long as the YWCA York has had it over 30 years, just about 30 years. When I took this position in July 2022, I was like, okay, we're gonna be good for a little bit. And that's how folks look at that. Fundraising at that time, fundraising now, is becoming harder and harder for nonprofit leaders in the nonprofit community. So knowing that there was an endowed fund, particularly for the work that we do, right at the heart of what we do, providing services for our victim services operation, as well as for Latino mothers and children, it was a strong pull and a strong reason to say yes, okay, YWCA is the place for me. That endowment is going to continue to grow, obviously, and we encourage people to continue to give regularly.
Great. Wonderful, wonderful. And this question's for you. Dream Rights has been really thoughtful in planning for leadership transition and long-term sustainability. What inspired you to start your endowment, and how are you ensuring it continues to grow while the organization transitions?
Well, our board did a lot of research on endowment. Nancy Newton's out there. 15 years ago, and then every year after. And we struggled. We struggled with the concept of putting money into an account that you can't touch the principal when we needed those dollars to keep the lights on. So each year, as we raised funds, we would talk about the importance of endowment, how important it is to have this, and how we weren't quite ready or comfortable taking those dollars that we worked so hard to put into this fund. Fortunately, we have a very generous donor who encouraged us and offered to match so that we could open an endowment with the fund, with the York County Community Foundation. That incentive did it. It provided our board with the strength to say, okay, we can do this. So we raised those funds and matched it. That began endowment for Dream Rights. And then on top of that, a few years later, when the foundation opened the Flex Fund for nonprofits, well, that was quite appealing. There's a fund you can touch the principal if need be. Once again, generous donor said, how about we do a match? The match helped us open a Flex Fund, and from that, we continue to try to round up, it's a phrase of one of my donors, round up and add to it. Any additional bequests we get go into that fund as well. Having these funds in place, along with a healthy balance sheet, really helps in our search for the next executive director. Thank you.
Thanks, Anne. All right, so let's hear next about the real-life ripple effects of endowment on your mission. Here are some questions to answer. I'm going to start with Kim and work our way back. How has your endowment impacted the day-to-day work of your organization? What are you able to do now that you couldn't do before? And maybe more importantly, because you have an endowment, what don't you have to worry about as much anymore? So Kim, we'll start with you.
I've indicated, when the endowment was started 30 years ago, it's interesting, the climate in the community, governmental funding and federal agency dollars were sort of drying up from the history that I read. And the board members had the strategic foresight to start thinking about, we need to put some dollars away here and figure out how to continue to be able to provide the services that we're providing, just in case. Very similar to the times we're facing right now, we are predominantly federal funded in our victim services area. And if those dollars should dry up in those contracts or grants, we would have to start tapping into other sources. But we use the annual interest right now from those dollars, mostly for maintenance and housing and upkeep for the properties that we own that provide emergency shelter for individuals. And they're in the city. I don't need a city fine, so we try to make sure we keep up with all those properties and everything from the landscape to the structural repairs that are needed, and that's how those interest dollars help us annually. We know that we're going to be able to fix up a property or work towards sprucing up the environment around it because of those dollars that are coming in. So very much how we would continue to use those dollars if we had to really draw on them for victim services.
That's great. Anne?
Like Kim, we have not as many facilities, but we do have a large historic building, and it's full of surprises. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So maintenance and upkeep, that's always, the next thing. And over the years, we've come up with some pretty creative fundraisers in order to cover them. In 2015, we asked our friends to add us to their bucket list, and then we launched the Bucket Brigade. This was a fundraiser for our leaking roof. With a display of buckets and umbrellas, we reached out to friends and we raised enough money to fix that roof, and our audiences and performers were dry on that main stage. So through the years, we've done all sorts of fun fundraisers, but knowing that there's money there if something comes up surely is comforting. I certainly hope that there are exciting fundraisers in the future to help cover these, but it's really more important to know that we have built something there that can be used and relied on. So when you get that call, again, about something in the building, you know it's there. In addition, as I step into retirement, it's of the utmost importance to me and my board that the legacy of this organization lives on. Not just the building, but what we do. So for me, that's what the endowment's about, the future.
Thank you. Ron?
Yeah, and for us at Children's Home of York, I think it's important for all of us to think an organization that's in crisis really can't optimally perform. And if an organization is hyper-focused on sustainability, it's very difficult to focus on excellence and innovation. And our agency, Flex Fund, is giving us an opportunity, our team and our board of directors, to think, how do we get the best outcomes we possibly can with kids who are having mental health challenges, often as a result of abuse and neglect? And so, to me, that creates a critical pathway for us to be focused on that excellence. And then the question about, like, what do I not have to worry about? I thought about that, and I remember 5 years ago thinking about the individuals who saved their entire life, and they left a bequest to us, and I felt like we were squandering it, not because it wasn't needed, but because those resources would drop in and be gone in 2 seconds to pay for a light bill, for the electric, or to put food on the table for our kids. And now I feel really good because when somebody leaves a legacy with us, something that they've worked their entire life for, I'm able to set that aside in perpetuity, and I'm able to draw revenue off of that donor's legacy. And I feel really good about that because we're going to be able to provide services for our children for decades to come because of the generosity of individuals who work their entire life to make our work possible.
Yeah, it's got to be a great feeling. Yeah. All right, so let's talk next about financial stability. So we know that this is a key driver for nonprofits, and many of you depend heavily on grants and annual fundraising. We know that. Endowments sometimes are seen as a luxury rather than a necessity, but I think the truth is, like you guys are talking now, they can be a real game changer. So let's explore now how your endowments build by helping donors see a long-term vision. So how do you do that? So Anne, we're going to start. The next question's for you. Some nonprofits worry that endowments could tie up funds. How do you respond to that concern while still emphasizing the importance of planning for the long term? And since your endowment is relatively new, what message seems to really resonate with your board and your donors?
As I mentioned previously, matching donations really provided that incentive for our board. That extra kick gave us the ability to join in and raise the funds. Since then, we've had several requests that have come into us, and whenever possible, we do try to match those or round up in some manner so that the growth continues to happen. Here's a kind of sweet story. There was a lovely lady who had given to our annual appeal every year. I didn't know her, I'd never met her, but I would give her a phone call and thank her and have a nice chat on the phone. And about 5 years ago, she called and she said, I have a bunch of Christmas sweaters and clothes that I'd like to give you for the theater costumes. And I thought, great. I don't know how many of you know how large our costume collection is, but it's rather large. And Christmas sweaters, yeah, okay. So I said, well, I'll come over and take a look at those. And so I drove our van over, and I got to her house, and there were stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of sweaters and slacks and blouses. They were all clean, they were folded, they were organized by color. And I was like, oh my. So she talked to me about her plans. She was moving to Florida and she needed to get rid of all this stuff, and she was by herself and didn't have any help and really wanted this gift to go to the theater. So I said, okay, we'll take it. And the look of relief and joy on her face was enough to make it really worth it. So we loaded the van up, and we did take some of those pieces, and some of them you may see in a holiday show at the theater. However, we gave away most of them. Spin forward a couple years, she passed away and left us a really large bequest. And now our costume shop lives on in perpetuity thanks to this woman's gift.
That's great. Great story. All right, Kim, this next one's for you. Over the decades, we heard, I think 30 decades, I don't know, that the YWCA York has learned a lot about balancing operational needs with growth. As politics and priorities change, how do donors to your endowment, past, present, and future, keep the YWCA York's vision alive year after year?
Knowing that those endowed dollars are going to be there for, to provide for our core services for this community, it's a good thing. I mean, I think you were even a board president, right? I mean, we've had a number of different board presidents and CEOs over the last 30 years with different visions and thoughts and direction, but those dollars are still there for that singular purpose, if you will, to provide shelter, to provide services for those that might have been victimized, and then our women and children, to be able to make sure our Latino mothers and children have childcare and are able to make great decisions for their families and be productive in our society as well too. So those dollars really help us stick to that core service regardless of who's coming through. And I think knowing that you can make that endowment, and that's what the dollars will be used for, makes a difference.
Wonderful. All right, Ron, this next question's for you. You've grown the Children's Home of York Flex Fund through legacy gifts. How do you talk to donors about the lasting impact of their gifts? And do you have a story that you can share with us that really shows what inspires someone to give that way?
Sure. Yeah, I think that one of the ways that I talk to donors is just to help them understand that I truly want to be a good steward of the resources that they provide to us and ensure that those resources give back to our youth for generations to come. And then as far as the story, I think, some of the work that we do is really challenging to share with our community. And the reality is I wish I didn't have a job. The reality is I wish that Children's Home didn't exist. But I'm so glad that it does for the children who need it most. We had a child in our partial hospitalization program a year or two ago who had experienced significant abuse and neglect, and to describe his behavior would be probably rage. It was very challenging to work with this child. When he would rage, he would destroy property, flip tables. He had big emotions he really didn't know what to do with in his little body. And the reality is he had to get back into his own school district, and in order for him to leave our program, he had to process the abuse that he experienced. And ultimately, he had to testify against his abuser, which he successfully did. He successfully discharged, and he is back in his home school district, and he's 7 years old. So again, I am so incredibly grateful that we have programs like our Bridges Partial Hospitalization Program and the incredible team that we have there, who are some of the most skilled mental health professionals I've ever worked with in my entire career. And I'm grateful that the Flex Fund allows our organization to continue to provide those services, because truly without them, we wouldn't be able to provide services if our board of directors didn't commit to fundraising and the agency Flex Fund to create that stability for our kids.
Oh, great. That's wonderful. All right, so we're approaching the end. This has been such an insightful and inspiring discussion. So thank you all for your openness and your leadership in these three incredible organizations. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear one final thought from each of you. Maybe it's a piece of advice, a hope for the future, or just one reason why you believe endowments are essential for nonprofit success. So we'll start with you, Ron, and we'll go down the line.
Sure. I mean, I guess I would just reiterate how grateful I am to the York community. We talked about having the 4th largest community foundation in the state of Pennsylvania, and it is such an incredible resource to our nonprofit community. And I'm just grateful that for 160 years, this community has shown up for our kids, and I anticipate for as long as we need to, this community will continue to show up, because that's what we do in this community is we show up, we support each other as nonprofit leaders, and I'm very grateful for all of you in the room who I bet many of you have some type of lasting legacy with your interaction with Children's Home of York.
Anne?
Being able to have something in place for the future of an organization that is so near and dear to my heart as I step away is probably the most important thing. I'm grateful to everyone who was instrumental in helping us get to this point of financial stability where we are today. So many of you out there have helped us through funds at the foundation and through our giving to our funds. So I'm grateful. Thank you. It's an honor to be part of this York County Community Foundation and know that Dream Right's legacy will live on long after me.
And Kim?
YWCA York is definitely grateful to the York's generosity. It's one of the largest and longest serving institutions in our community, and the services that we provide just mean so much to the individuals that come through our doors every day. So we are thankful to York for their giving and their support of the organization. As we even are going through an update of our strategic plan, we can't lose sight of the financial giving and the financial needs of the organization. And I would encourage organizations, as you're having those discussions as a board like we did many years back, think about that opportunity to house an endowment with your County Community Foundation that grows. And before you know it, 30 years are here, and it's a healthy endowment right now. So we're very thankful, and I would encourage everyone to give to YWCA York.
Thank you. All right. Thanks again to all our panelists and to all of you for being here tonight with us. Your dedication to making a difference in our community is what drives this work, the work of our foundation. We hope you leave this conversation feeling energized, empowered, and maybe even inspired to explore what an endowment can mean to your mission or a nonprofit you care about. So we're going to welcome Natalie Gunderson back up on the stage, but before we do that, let's give our panelists a big round of applause.
Way to go, Robbie and Sarah, carrying that thing like two strong women. Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's take a moment to celebrate the incredible work of our nonprofit colleagues, both those who joined us on stage, but also many of you who are in the audience. Thank you for what you do, and please join me in giving all of us a round of applause. We are truly honored at YCCF to stand beside you as partners, supporters, and champions of your mission. Your dedication fuels the heart of York County, and we are profoundly grateful for the tireless efforts you put forth to serve others and strengthen our community forever. I also want to thank each of you in the audience tonight for playing a vital role in building a vibrant, compassionate, and thriving York County. Your presence here today and every day makes a difference. Together, we're not just envisioning a better future, we're walking toward it, side by side. Thank you for trusting us as your partner on this journey. That's our formal program, and we really appreciate your attendance, and please enjoy fellowship in this community that we have and we enjoy together. Thank you again.